Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to, of course, the monthly peace report for Gemini season of 2022. This, of course, is your most gracious host, the Peace Dealer, here to, of course, during this Mercury retrograde, express the significance and meaning of this transit. Buckle down in your seats or buckle up, regardless of how you want to see this, and stay tuned, for we are going to talk about a lot of very, very, very important concepts that we can digest and break down accordingly. All right. um, if you have made it because you're a part of the membership or because you purchased a webinar ticket right now, welcome. Um, this season is very pivotal, especially when taking into account that as I record this, we are about 7 degrees into the balsamic phase. We're 7 degrees into Gemini during a balsamic phase. And as we are coming out of the first decan, we have still barely come to understand what is amongst us. The new moon in another couple of days will officially kick this in proper. And let me tell you something. It may have taken your entire life to reach this level of magical aptitude and perception that you're about to kick the door in. A sextile with Mars and Jupiter is not just opening the door, you're kicking the door into what you're activating and initializing. So, and you're doing it unapologetically too. So, that being said, welcome. You being conscious through this will weather you through the storm of passive aggressive manipulative tactics that through this ultimate final cycle will meet its end and rest. There's certain narratives and a whole archetype of social collective themes that you may have struggled or dealt with your whole life that is going to meet its bitter end because you take the sword and plunge it through its heart. Okay, I want you to think David and Goliath. I want you to think the underdog story of upsetting what seemingly is the giant or the bigger influence. Many of you, especially individuals, will be used by God in order to express the glory of God through you as an instrument, vessel, or conduit. Okay. And so you want to see this as a theme stepping into the next decade and the rest of the year. You're going to really make a lot of people uneasy. Remember, Gemini is all about perspective. It's the first of the 4 perspective zodiac signs. And so, Gemini, there's 4 levels of change. Gemini is the change of the mind. A lot of people are going to change their mind about you because you're stepping into the door with an updated, transcended, new expression of yourself, especially while you were evolving any bad impressions you've made on people based on unreasonable expectations or unrealistic expectations on your person. This is going to legitimately shock a lot of people in the evolution of your self definition and how legendarily or how legendary you express that. So, this is a lot to look forward to. Gemini season is the first effect. Okay. Basically, we take action the beginning of every season. Aries is the definition of our character through our identity. There's power in the name. And then Taurus is where we build strength by manifesting the foundation of values that we stand on. However, it's not until Gemini season that we experience the effects of what it is we spent the last 2 months building. Okay. Very key. And in like a few short days, this is all going to blossom for you. So think about that. The end of every season, the mutable sign of every season is the blossoming and the effects of the cardinal cause and the strength, the fixed strength that produces the fixed mechanic through mutability. So, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is you're going to witness and experience the effects through magic, okay, of everything we went through. I didn't even start the webinar yet. I didn't even go into the webinar. Like, we have a lot of jam-packed quality information in and for this webinar, okay? So for those of you who once again are joining us and are ready to take hold, um it's very significant that you're here. I want you to see each monthly peace report as a ritual. Yeah, I may not be lighting candles, or I may not necessarily be personally, you know, sharing any special instructions, but this is definitely just by expressing and activating my second house Gemini, manifesting energy that just you listening is enough to effectively function like a ritual. Okay. And shout out to my Hawaii. It definitely has been a minute. Okay. Shout out to all of you beautiful people here in the room with me. This is definitely very key once again because the Chiron, the key, is also activated here. There's certain layers I want to preface before we step into the integration cycle of the next 1, 2, 3 punch of Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. The effect of that, of course, will be analysis of Virgo. Everything that we're learning here by Virgo will be mastering. And then we'll see the ascended effects of all this through Sagittarius, and then we'll transcend through Pisces and do it all over again. So every time we do it, there's certain themes. The theme this time around is a brand new evolution cycle kicking off in Aries, representative, of course, of your identity, the sauce, the swag, the power, and the attitude of how you express this. So, as you'll see, the chart is mainly focused on the first 3 signs because this is like the first part of a new season series, all right, where we're introducing the characters, we're introducing the plot, and Gemini is the open door to get the story started. So it's not going to be until this season where you start to notice how much you've evolved over the course of several years, since this is the ultimate cycle here, which I will be speaking of. Okay, the ultimate beginning. I love that. That's very important, especially once we come into this next cycle in 12 years, which I'll speak on. We have already kicked in this beginning, so it's starting that first chapter. This is kind of more like the bridge in between the end of the old and setting up the beginning, the ultimate beginning of the new. Hence, the beginning of the end of the world follows this. In fact, this new Jupiter cycle includes this with Saturn in Pisces. Okay. So there's so much to really be excited for. You want to spend this entire Gemini season just excited, not worried like Virgo and analyzing what can go wrong. You want to be childlike Gemini. You want to be childlike like Gemini and really just wonder the possibilities of what is, okay? And get excited about the promise of new ventures. And by golly, if you do at least one thing, you must trust in the magic of new beginnings. I mean, that is legitimately more new moon in Gemini or mutable sign than anything. Okay. So the power of new beginnings is going to be new moon in a cardinal. The strength of new beginnings is going to be a new moon in fixed, but the magic of new beginnings is a new moon in a mutable sign. So you have already done the work through 2020, and you've already did it again and strengthened everything through 2021. And this is now the final transcendent effect aspect where now it's time to actually experience what this is all for. What is the purpose of this experience? Practice. The purpose of this experience is to basically upload and actually experience everything that you worked hard to break through into. So, congratulations. Okay. That being said, if we step into now the webinar, the basis of this is true epiphany. You are unlocking the, if not a true epiphany that will not only unlock and open your mind, but completely and in legendary ways enlighten you not only into the next step forward, but into who you have always been and who you are. You are a part of a collective plot that is influenced by narratives. So many of you are going to start to realize with this legendary cycle of evolving your self definition, not only who you are relative to everyone else in the world, but where you belong. If you think that life is a script, many of you are going to recognize who is the main character, who is the side character. There's certain plots and stories you're the main character of, certain you're the side character, certain that you're the extra. You're going to come into the most unique and unconventional breakthrough of defining who you are with new dimensions of mechanisms and mechanics that function to help you take how you identify and think about who you are to the next level. And so this epiphany will have a lot to do with now adding more life, color, and attitude into your expression of this role. Many of you are being set up to be leaders of the new world where the meek shall inherit the earth. And so a lot of this epiphany will key you into not only this level of who you're becoming, but the blossoming and initial budding of new supernatural techniques and magical abilities that will now add so much more flair and excitement to this evolution process, as it is also simultaneously a completion and evolution and manifestation of all the work you have done to get this far. That being said, welcome to this monthly Peace Report webinar of Gemini season 2022, where the true epiphany will open up and enlighten your mind to step you into the process of changing your whole life. So, as you can see in the dictionary, enlightenment is the action of enlightening or the state of being enlightened. As you can see, the action and state of attaining or having attained spiritual knowledge or insight, in particular, that awareness which frees a person from the cycle of rebirth. Enlightenment is a state induced in some cases by an action. Okay, an action of having attained, that's Aries, Taurus, and then the state Gemini of being in the know. Another more important definition is the manifestation of a supernatural being is really the definition of epiphany. Okay, that's another definition I wanted to share, if not the central definition. So, enlightenment is attaining spiritual knowledge, but epiphany is the manifestation of a supernatural being. This supernatural being is you. And the true epiphany that we're kicking in is this manifestation of an updated, higher supernatural facet of your essence. But you may ask, Peace Dealer, I've already manifested this being. Yes, just like you already have the phone in your hand, but periodically that phone has what? A firmware or a software update. So you are coming back around to another update of this manifestation of the supernatural being that is you. And the nature of this update and upgrade will have you like Shireen ready to bring it on. So key, so key, so key. Okay. This, of course, is happening during Gemini season. Gemini is the third individual zodiac sign. It is the first air sign and also the first mutable sign. Okay. Individual mutability is representative of individual perspectives and the magic that enables you to create reality with your thoughts. The nature of air enables a detached and clear mode and state of thinking. And it's the changeable effect produced through Gemini that enables one to harness the magic of Gemini, which is a change of mind. You will change your mind, period. You will enlighten and come into more information that will change your mind. This happens to everybody every year. We'll go over Mercury's retrograde back into Taurus, which will ground reevaluation and awakening of processing information relative to this change of mind. Okay, basically, you're going into Gemini season, your mind's going to change. And then the stuff you processed before, you're going to reevaluate because now you're applying this change of mind, coming back in to apply, of course, how much more enlightened you process information. What is causing this? Your supernatural. Basically, this change of mind is inducing an activation of new abilities that, of course, you're going to bring back into your mundane reality to change the foundation and go back and open this door into the supernatural realm. This is where, now that we're coming along the ultimate cycle, the nature of how we experience Gemini season is not going to be like what it usually has been. Okay. There's a potency to your functioning of this Gemini magic that will take you literally over the next 6 months to the next level. Namely and innately in that, like master magicians, what if I told you, ladies and gentlemen, that anything that you think in your mind and can perceive, you can make happen? What if I told you that through spell work and spell crafting, you can manifest abilities, words, affirmations, and techniques that take what you're thinking in your mind and create to warp this reality? We know this is true because you have been doing this since birth. There's not a single moment in your life where you do not do this. The mutable axis of the houses in astrology teach this. Your attitude affects your behavior. Gemini affects Virgo. Your behavior affects your philosophy. Virgo affects Sagittarius. And your philosophy affects your spirituality and beliefs. Sagittarius affects Pisces. And your beliefs influence your attitude and what you think every day. Pisces influencing Gemini. And this cycle literally infinitely loops. And so you are going to upgrade how powerful you are in yourself to now induce a definitive change in not only how powerfully what you think influences reality, but how much more enlightened you notice these dynamics. Ladies and gentlemen, what you say exactly that will induce change is the epiphany you're going to uncover. Similar to Billy Batson who yelled the name Shazam. Synchronicities with the square to Pisces will aid you in this realization. Classic example that I experienced early today. I was reading a wiki article about Shazam, and I was reading an excerpt in that article about the wizard Shazam. At that moment in time, someone sent me an email a little earlier, and in that email, unrelated to the article I was reading, was a picture. Of course, the subject said magic word, and he circled something in that picture. And what was that circled? Shazam. This is very important. One will call this a coincidence. Two seemingly unrelated events that, through synchronicity, enabled an unseen facet of spirit to bring to my awareness and attention an important correlation. This is a base form and level of, you guessed it, magic. How did that even come about? Communication between two different people sharing their individual thoughts. Gemini. Virgo will teach you magic is real, but you're going to understand the true nature of magic like never before. Okay. And so, what's very important to embrace is that this Gemini season is having you step into a sort of magic school. Regardless of how adept you are at magic, there are certain principles when it comes to thinking and observing your thoughts that's going to change the way you think and approach magic forever. Many of you will break through certain blockages you've had when it's come to spell crafting, maybe since you were born or for so long. And you're going to break through the mental blocks that gets in your way from manifesting your thoughts. If there's one thing Gemini season teaches you and shows you in a much more updated, unconventional, and supernatural way, my friend, your thoughts are more than things. They are the words and the spirit and sword through which you create the reality you experience. And if you are ready to venture forth with me, we know that the fire signs have air, of course, in their air houses. And so this is going to trigger desire. Aries is going to learn an important set of skills like Liam Neeson, as Gemini is their third house. Leo is going to, of course, learn what friendships or true friendships belong in their life with the 11th house axis. And Sagittarius is going to learn the true nature of their partnerships with the right people who enlighten and add more information and truth into their life. We know that earth signs have air in their earth houses. And so they're going to be learning how to change their mind to come into greater wealth. We know that Gemini is Taurus's affinity in second house. And so they will change their mind around ideas that induce more financial growth. We know that Gemini is Virgo's 10th house, and so they will change their mind around what career goals and success they are enlightening themselves and others about. And then we know that Capricorn has Gemini as their 6th house, and so they will be fundamentally changing their life by changing the mindset around how they live their day to day. We know air signs have fire houses activated with air sign transits. And so this will really activate a sense of action in the air signs. Gemini will be enlightened to their identity and self expression, whereas Libra with Gemini in the ninth will enlighten their philosophy of how they enable truth to balance more their personality. And of course, Aquarius is going to learn more about how creatively genius they've always been and how much more efficiently to communicate that in light of respective evolutions. And of course, finally, water signs have air in the water houses. And so this is going to influence very fundamentally the liberation that breaks water out of subconscious blocks. Cancer, of course, has Gemini in their 12th house. And so they will be learning the beliefs around the ideas and mindset that influences their spirituality and their connection to literal angels. Scorpio, Gemini is your 8th house. And so Scorpio is going to learn intimacy and trust issues, boundaries drawn, and how to take the ascended value to invest in the right minds and ideas of those who can be trusted. And of course, Pisces, 4th house is Gemini. And so they're going to change their mind around what home is like for them and what ideas they feel comfortable sharing with others. As you can see, the relevant transits that we will be exploring will have much to do with, of course, the transit of the outer and inners through the first four zodiac signs, ladies and gentlemen. Sun conjunct Mercury, that Kazemi at 0 degrees will kick off Gemini season, or has kicked off Gemini season, which will be the initialization of the true Epiphany that will kick off more exact with the new moon in Gemini. And then, of course, the sun sextiling Jupiter as we kick off the transit will literally activate an open door relative to the conjunction in Aries that will continue along the working narrative of how to really think or what to think about what you're evolving in yourself. And then, of course, Mercury will go direct after the new moon in Gemini so that your ability to process what magic you're experiencing will catch up and lead to another epiphany later on in the year. And then, of course, the full moon in Sagittarius that will complete the new ideas this transit will bless you with through seeing the meaning of said idea and taking a new spell and or program and taking it to the next level, completing what it is through. With the full moon, if the new moon will have you learn a new spell by the full moon in Sagittarius, you're showing it to other people. You've completed it to the point where you can show it to someone else. I'm going to make this very practical. Make no mistake. The difference between those who are committed to this transit, which you put in, you get out, versus those who aren't, regardless, everyone's going to do the same thing. You're going to create a new spell. Okay. You're going to create a new program. Some people, the new program or spell they're going to create is I'm not good enough. Life is so hard. For others of you, it's I am the bananas and shit. That was horrible. I am amazing. You know what I'm saying? Life opens up to me. Like these are going to be spells that you reorganize and re-imprint your brain on. This is where you can apply the work through Gemini season to literally instill this in and come into results. That's what this webinar is for. Let me guide you down this process so you can actually see a lot more how amazing this is. Of course, Sun conjunct Mercury is the Kazemi that kicks this off, the true epiphany that will very effectively influence accordingly how importantly you're in a position to very magically open your mind into the new doorway of how brilliant you are. And like my Hawaii asked in the comments, I do have the dates. We start, of course, this transit off at May 21st. What's very key about this, okay, before the sextile is that Mercury, of course, will retrograde back into Taurus. So as the doorway into the supernatural opens, that was definitely Truth Day. Yes. And the new moon is going to be the next version of this. As we step into the doorway that leads us into the supernatural, okay, Mercury, upon being activated by this Kazemi, will instantly and has instantly retrograded back into Taurus. For what purpose? Okay, for the purpose of taking this realization and enlightened awareness and to instantly ground through the reevaluation of sensory stimuli that gives us more insight into what we're being aware of. This is so crucial, guys, because the moon being so close to Neptune augmented this epiphany and awareness with a total understanding of the knowledge behind in relation to the entire collective of what this is. So you're having higher knowledge of what this is, and it's through inner authority, undisputable. It's not like if it was in Pisces, like after, and we have to get a little confused. This initial epiphany showed every single one of you what this is. And don't worry if you're still confused. By the new moon, it will come from your subconscious to your consciousness. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. This is an epiphany train, baby. And the reason why this is once again very key is, what can we say about Gemini? Gemini is a change of mind. The example of this is basically you put glasses on. Let's say your glasses are blurry and you don't have 20/20 vision. This is where you put glasses on. And now you're seeing so much more clear. Now there are details with this clarity you see that with Mercury retrograde, you're reevaluating what you processed. Okay. Now you're starting to see more of that smudge on your shirt. As Mercury retrogrades, you're clearing up that smudge. I want to make sure I explain this right. Taurus is your 5 physical senses, but the quality of thinking that Taurus produces is heavily influenced by the quality of the 5 senses you have. And so it's your brain that produces your consciousness, but your brain is physical. Your brain has input and output sensory stimuli that processes your senses through your sight, your smell. That is Mercury. Mercury is the ability for your brain to process. Mercury in Taurus is the individual processing of your brain relative to your physical senses. And so Uranus's influence here has now turned on the clairs to take your physical senses and connect them to the causal realm through channeling. Everyone's different, so the quality and degree to which maybe some of you focus more towards clairvoyance, others clairaudience, others clairgustiance. This is not only unconventionally manifesting a supernatural quality of your physical sense to process this information, but so key, Gemini has now opened up a new perspective to now apply to this more grounded sense. That is the purpose of Mercury retrograding back. Now you have to reevaluate. Oh, before this Kazemi, I was looking at situations like this is that, this is that, this is that. Now we have the Kazemi. No, this is what it is. Now I have to go back and be like, no, this is that. I thought this was this. This is that. I'm applying this perception. That's what this is. So as Mercury is retrograding back, the sun is getting more and more awareness. Every day, you're getting more and more awareness of the truth. Okay. So everything is a continuation of the 21st. This is very key because it started subtle too. So many of you may not entirely be totally in the clear of what this epiphany is. That's what the new moon is for. Okay. You will know the new moon, especially now is the balsamic phase. So we started the transit off from moon in Aquarius, and now the moon is in Taurus. So from moon in Aquarius to moon in Taurus was taking this epiphany behind your consciousness, and you feel it, but you're not entirely aware of it yet, like you will in another couple of days during the new moon, where we activate truly the true epiphany. Okay. Want to make sure we're clear here. Very iconic transit, especially leading into the sextile of Sun and Jupiter that happened the 23rd of May. So this is very important for several reasons. One, we have Mercury retrograding back into Taurus, sextile Mars, 29 degrees, finishing off its cycle, which is very interesting. I'm not going to say bittersweet, but when Mars was 29 degrees Pisces for me last time, I had moved into the apartment that I lived in before this one, and I had survived a near fatal car accident that could have claimed my life and somebody else. That's how I remember that. Mars is the very last degree, and Mars is the accelerator on the car. It represents the vehicle in a sense. Totaled. And then Mars went into Aries, we reset. So now this is coming back around. Very interesting. And not only that, Mars, that is sextile Mercury, is having you transcend the function of action paranormally through your imagination, supernaturally, as you are processing the crystallization of this true epiphany physically. This is purely intuitive. So you're not necessarily going to think about it. This is more transcendent aspects of your divinity subtly interplaying with your body language and your physiology. Okay. But more importantly, Jupiter sextiling the sun is so very important because Jupiter was in Pisces when the sun was in Aries. We didn't have the sun conjunct Jupiter in Aries. That's why this isn't really truly the Jupiter cycle that kicks off Aries. Jupiter is going to come back into Aries 2023. And during Aries season, we're going to have Sun conjunct Jupiter in Aries. So the first aspect that we're having outside of the semi-sextile effectively is, are you ready? The sextile. So very key. I want to say this again. Next year, Gemini season, we're going to have a sextile of the sun to Jupiter, but that will be after we had a conjunction with Sun, Jupiter, Aries. So Sun, Jupiter, Aries next year kicks off this brand new evolution of self. Then we sextile that Gemini season. After we've evolved ourselves, now we're looking at the attitude and way to communicate this evolution. But we're coming into this sextile after the new moon in Pisces. So this is going to be a little different. This is moving forward. Instead of already establishing this new sense of yourself, you're moving forward with this idea and evolution on the fly. Okay. So it's not going to feel like this is who I am. And then 2 months later, this is how I communicate it. This is who I am. And we're winging it. Like you're doing both at the same time at 2 degrees at a still very initiatory beginning. So that means you're not going to have all the details, nor do you have to. This is like deciding, you know what? I'm magic major. And then next year you come back around and you're like, you know what? I'm Magic Mike. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Things may be tentative, but you're still headed in the right direction. Whether you have all the details straight, the purpose of this is to generate action so you move towards the right direction. Very, very, very key. And Gemini is going to really help you navigate by staying true to yourself what that direction is, based on the authenticity and values through Taurus that help you really maintain this. Okay. This sextile relative to where it is in your chart will show you what is also opening up. Sextiles represent a door, okay, and an evolution of skills. So this is really going to key you into a whole lot of how you are beginning to express abilities attached to the new powers that you're activating. Okay. All of this is still a setup coming into the new moon that will activate all of this setup effectively. So during this period, as we still activate this sextile, just continue to be inspired with creative ways to communicate who you're becoming and what you have officially activated. This sets us up to the new moon in Gemini on the 30th of May, that we're going to have 9 degrees or 8 degrees of decision coming into 9 of action. Okay. This is pivotal, guys, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see several things here. Okay. First of all, Shireen said 2023 sounds like it's going to be a game changer. And it really is. 2023 is going to be 2020, but on steroids. And I want to really bring the science to that. 2020, we had Jupiter in Cap. 2023, we're going to have Jupiter in Aries. So it's still cardinally themed. Whereas we started something new 2020, we're going to start something new 2023, but it's going to be based off of the 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022 years that will lead into this new thing. So the game changer is actually 2022, but it's going to change everything we believe in and our self-concept so that 2023, we step into this game changer renewed. And the best way to see that is 2022 is the year that Harry Potter realizes he's a wizard. 2023 is after Harry has spent a whole year in Hogwarts. So he's still a beginner. He hasn't had the other movies yet, but he's already had a year in Hogwarts and he's stepping into 2023, Harry Potter, the wizard, ready to develop his character. He's not Harry Potter who still needs to figure out what that is. I mean, he didn't even know magic was really like that before. That's what 2022 is. 2023 is after you become who you are ready to evolve this next cycle. This is so pivotal because so many magical breakthroughs will happen just in Gemini season alone and throughout the whole year. You're fundamentally going to make obsolete every single way you've thought before. Why? Because you're going to see greater synchronization through signs and synchronicities than you've ever seen. You're going to see more evidence of abilities making obsolete old techniques and ways of thinking than you've ever done. And this is going to really set the stage for the rest of the year. Okay. And so this new moon is what will not only bring the conjunction of the sun and moon, but this is also going to activate the conjunction of Mars and Jupiter. So I want you to see this as like a track race where everyone's in their lane. And as Mars goes over Jupiter, poof, that officially kicks things off. I cannot think, I cannot really speak to how amazing this is. This is forever, though. Many of you may feel like this is finally breakthrough for the setup that felt like forever. So you had to go through like many tower moments and awakenings. And this is going to really set you off on more of a noticeable evidence of this that will really, throughout Sagittarius season, grant you liberation and freedom. As you climb up the mountain in Capricorn and Jupiter goes back into Aries, and we kick this in for real, for real. And we step into the beginning of the end of the world. You're going to see old narratives end in light to prepare brand new eras and ages. And this is very important because many of you have been tapped into the new frequency. You'll know because you feel like an alien or a starseed. You've been holding space this entire time to uplift humanity out of the old bullshit they've been brainwashed to accept their entire existence. Many of you came in with, you know what I'm saying, the codes, the secrets, the lifestyle of the new world, the new age. And you were ostracized and made to feel weird for being ahead of your time. It's going to be a transit like this that click, click, things click since Pisces season. And I'll give you the understanding of what you're experiencing to make sense of why you had to go through everything you've gone through in your entire life. The new moon in Gemini is now going to be that trigger that takes this true epiphany that since the 21st activated and now bring you into a full awareness of this. Like, goddamn. So imagine that you're coming into a full awareness of what to think about your reality. You're coming into an activation of new magic that will change the way you think about manifesting magic into your reality. And as that happens, Mars and Jupiter is 11th house, like, let's go. The difference between this new moon without that sextile versus the new moon with that sextile is as follows. The new moon in Gemini is going to give you an idea like, wow, holy crap. I have all the material I need. I built it through Taurus. So if I set up a lemonade stand, it's going to change my life. Yeah, it might take some time. I might have to perfect the resources through Virgo, but this is going to change the game for me. Okay. Think about this. That would just be if it was the new moon. You know what you want to call the lemonade stand because you know who you are through Aries. You worked for the resources in Taurus, and now the idea has come up. I have lemonades. I have what I need. I can make a lemonade stand. Okay. Get this. Jupiter in Aries sextile, the conjunction of Mars is, I'm going to make a lemonade stand. Boom! You have a friend who's like, okay, I already know the people who want to buy lemonades. I already know the place you can do this. You can put your lemonade stand in my party. Remember, this is 11th house to Gemini of community, friends, and rewards from career. So that's the difference from just creating the idea and then having to find the right people to everything's already there. You just have to take action. Boom, you already coming into returns. You already, now Jupiter's there. Your lemonade stand is the truth. Now you're already an instant celebrity because you're given the good lemonade. Unless your lemonade is bad, then you'll be a celebrity for the wrong reasons. You're the bad lemonade guy. So this is where you're going to see such a quintessential hyper acceleration of events. Things are going to move really, 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 really fast. And a lot of what was timing the delay wasn't a delay, it was just the fog with Mars and Pisces. This is where, with that new moon, you're hitting the ground running. You're breezing through with the Gemini magic. I really hope that was a good analogy, and I really hope you're enjoying this webinar. I promise you it gets better. But it's really the season that's going to progressively get better and better and better. Just to preface, remember, this is all preparing us for Cancer season. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. There's 4 seasons of this. So after we come out of Pisces, which transcends our belief, we've ended the old cycle. We've come into the collective realization of the goals we want coming into the end of the year in December. We step into New Year's, and then Pisces enables us to change our beliefs, not our thoughts, our beliefs around who we are. Then we step into Aries season. Okay. And relative to Aries season, yo, God bless y'all. Aries season kicks off the initialization of the end of the season. Okay. The change of belief through Pisces adjusts our perception and changes our direction. So we step into Aries like, this is who I am. And we move forward taking individual actions that define our character. Then, based on those actions, we step into Taurus, the 2 of the 1, 2, 3, and we build strength on that. This is where we get stubborn. This is where we get fixed, and we make it stronger, 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 stronger. Gemini, the effects. How are we going to communicate who we are? Now, the end of this first cycle changes our minds so that we can adjust perception to determine the right direction of what? Feelings. So the first cardinal function were the actions, the raw, original, instinctual actions. The next are the deeper emotions and psychic empathy that connects you based on how you feel who you are to others. If you don't resonate with how you feel other people are, it's going to be closed off. If you do, you're going to be empathic. This opens up psychic connectivity and develops psychic abilities. And so this is going to step us into the second phase of integration. Okay. We have activation, then we have integration, then we have ascension, then we have transcendence. The first three activate and set up all the players. Gemini season is when we're going to be like, okay, this is what this person is. This is who this person is. Then we integrate. Okay. This is where we take Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and we start to specialize and perfect and improve on everything we started the first three. We start to add a little bit more swagger. We polish it. Cool. Then we have the third phase where we integrate the individual activation that we do every year into society with everyone else. We polish it through Libra, we transform it deeper through Scorpio, and then it ascends to the next level in Sag. Then we take this ascended perspective and transcend it, getting ready to clear the field before we do it all over again in Aries. Boom, baby. So Gemini season is very pivotal because it prepares us to end one phase, step into the next phase. This next phase is going to involve the final boss battle of the series, the Pluto and Cap series. So everything about this year is eventful, but it's going to be this Gemini season that you start to see in your news and you start to see in your environment, things starting to align and catch up to speed and move very, very, very fast. Faster than things moved with George Floyd. Okay. Very fast, y'all. Chirons is involved, so there's going to be vulnerable wounds. Okay. And you'll see people act like babies when they don't get their way. But stay detached, stay true, stay clear. And it's this new moon in Gemini that's going to bloop, open your mind to now activate this true epiphany. And we are going to go through each sign to show you where this true epiphany will induce this change of mind and activation for magic. Remember, when you think about magic, there are certain activations, techniques, and also abilities unique to you that you will manifest relative from Gemini to Virgo, defining what you do to manifest to how you perfect this manifestation ability. You are on the verge of crafting an ability. You're taking your cumulative experience. The reason why so many of you feel on the verge of cracking a code is because you are. This code is marked by Neptune. So many of you have had cumulative experience since 2010 where you notice certain patterns. You notice that when this happens, this happens. It's taking you years to notice these unconscious patterns that are on the verge of being conscious. You notice that, oh, when I react like this to certain situations, this happens. You're starting to notice the patterns and the consistency. What if I told you that this is the Gemini season where it clicks and you crack that code? Now you're like, this is what I do. You haven't mastered the code. You haven't mastered the code yet to where you can use it in social situations. That's a Virgo season. You haven't taken it to the next level where you use it in social situations and break through your current situation by elevating it because of the utilization of this technique. That's Sagittarius season. You're in Gemini. You're cracking it. You're having that base level realization and epiphany that, oh, this is what it is. Let's get it, baby. And let me tell you something. You may not experience a feeling more exhilarating than finally breaking through into the way of thinking that you have always been destined to think and feel. This involves entirely as well the breakthrough of generational curses, especially for those of you who have been black sheep. Much of your mindset, like a virus, which is contagious, is going to influence everyone around you because for so long, people who have undermined through projecting fear at the way you think are going to see that the crazy stuff to them you've been thinking is producing more results than ever. Was it producing results before? Yes. But so much outside influences and prejudice and blockages didn't enable other people to see the fruits of what you were doing. Not this time. Now there's so much more results and evidence as time is the true tester that this is realistically going to change the way you even approach other people. Remember, Mercury's retrograde into Taurus will also help you reevaluate the value you process that you receive from other people. From every single one of you this Gemini season, your feature price will change, because what's going to happen is going to be the same for everyone. The way it happens is going to be unique and different for everyone. So what's the thing that's going to happen to everyone? People will change their mind around what you're worth. People will see you post, communicate, and do things and be seen with people that will take their idea of you from here to here. And so the way that they communicate, Gemini, with you is going to change. The way that they look at you is going to change. And so your test is to align with how true you are with your worth and draw proper boundaries to make sure you're going to let the right people in or the wrong people in, and keep the right or wrong people out. This is so very important, because that Jupiter evolution in 11th house of notoriety is going to evolve how your individuality and your identity takes you to higher social standing and higher success. Okay. So key. This is going to set the stage for Cancer season to Virgo, where you're now having to integrate how you feel about this, how courageous you are to tell people how you feel, and now start to sort through the perfection of these abilities through techniques. Of course, the next transit that we will have on the 5th of June is Mercury finally going direct in Taurus. We want to take into account the trine to Pluto retrograde, because the trine to retrograde to Pluto, while squaring, of course, Saturn and sextiling Neptune, is adding much more intensity, strength, and divinity to how much you ground this processing of information through your physical senses. Neptune is going to add more grounding of the supernatural, but it's Pluto's trine that will apply this awakening power to how much more you ground these physical senses. The square to Saturn is going to bring collective knowledge in your ability to process real physical context, to make sense of higher conceptual ideals and narratives, and your physical individual place in all of them. But we want to look at that trine, because that's going to add the power to your supernatural ability to process in your real physicality unseen supernatural phenomena. And also induce the ability to begin to generate power supernaturally. So the whole notion of being able to, with your mind, project electricity, fire, water from your palms is actually slowly but surely awakening. And won't be until Pluto's in Aqua and Uranus is in Gemini till you fully master this. But for you adepts, you're already breaking through this. Starting unconsciously, more consciously as this moves through. We are going to see that the moon will be in Leo, okay, opening up a sextile through this activation. Why is this key? The moon in Gemini is activating new magical perspectives. From the new moon in Gemini, this will activate a new magic spell that Mars will have you move forward to already start using and activating and taking. The more you use it with this sextile, the more powerful it gets exponentially. Okay. So the activation of this new magic you want to trust in magic and new beginnings with is new moon Gemini, new moon, moon in Cancer, moon in Leo. Once we step into the moon in Virgo, we are integrating. This is where the seeds we sow in Gemini, we break through. And it starts to break ground before we harvest it, moon in Sag. So the moon in Virgo is going to take a new ability that you're learning in 2 days, and it's going to break you through, where you're starting to take it from an ability to a master technique. You're breaking through in the repetition and consistency that will have you practice this technique. Coming into the harvest of the full moon, boom, we're complete. Now I can say this spell and I can show it, and it can happen every time. That completes it, bringing us to Cancer season, where we add more depth, substance, and juice and power to this spell. We're applying this new mindset into how we empathically engage with other people. And it'll get a little romantic coming in the Leo season. But before we get there, I want to just once again inspire you with the knowledge that you're on the verge of learning a brand new magic skill, a program, a way of thinking that will influence your attitude and instantly connect you with other people who align with this way of thinking to make quick friends and valuable friends instantly and very dynamically. The sextile of the sun with the moon in Leo is opening the door before this quarter square to take this new idea or skill or magical ability and flesh this through with the boldness and confidence to express this. So, new moon in Gemini is, I think I'm going to change my life. Or it's, my new magic spell is, I get money, honey. And every time you say I get money, honey, a financial opportunity opens up. Then it goes into Cancer, and you're not just saying it, you're feeling into the depth of it. I get money, honey. You're feeling into how valuable this is for you. And that literally adds power to this spell. Then it's in Leo, where you're adding fire. I get some money, honey. You're performing it to the universe. You wake up in the morning, I get some money, honey. Boom, the universe responds. Like, it's so much stronger than just the new moon in Gemini. I get money, honey. Like, now you're adding depth of emotion and boldness. Boom. This breaks you through into the full moon in Virgo or the first quarter square in Virgo, where we take that boldness and we start to integrate it socially. I hope you get that concept, because for Mercury to now go direct, as this will square that moon in Leo, okay, shout out to you, Shireen. This is what's going to now reevaluate and change. All right. Please feel free to say this, whatever you want. Okay. To take this thinking and prepare to go back and enlighten in Gemini. Okay. So there's a purpose for this square. Uranus in Taurus that's going to be squaring the moon in Leo and opposing the moon, which will be opposing Saturn, will strengthen how you contextually make sense of the individual values that go into expressing this spell, this program, and how to already, connect it with everything around you. But to strengthen this, take it from strength to strength. Now, the full moon is very key. The full moon, of course, is where we break through into harvesting the new program. So the first 2 weeks of the new moon is learning the new spell. It's learning what it's like to be in Hogwarts. The full moon is you passing the first test or exam to make sure you understood what you learned. So, of course, from new moon to first quarter square, it's learning. From first quarter square to full moon, it's homework. And of course, the full moon is, what grade did you get on your homework or your test? Boom. And if you pass the full moon, you harvest the effects of a good grade. Now, from moon in Sagittarius coming into Cancer season, you're harvesting how skilled this new spell is. You have not mastered this new skill, but you have completed the basics of learning it. So now you can show it and begin the process of mastering and perfecting it. So the full moon is going to be very key, because we're going to see Mars on Chiron, the key. We're going to see Venus on the North Node, and we're going to see Mercury revisit the Cazimi point that was at with the sun. So the realizations you made on May 21st, when this first entered with the sun, are going to be revisited this time with you mastering initially a new magic spell. You're going to be seeing the meaning of what this current experience is enlightening you to, and Mercury will now begin to catch up processing the breadcrumbs that the sun was leaving with its awareness. That means when the sun leads Mercury, you are aware of things before your brain can process what it is. You're just experiencing it, versus when Mercury leads the pack, you're processing information before you're aware of what it is. So this is going to allow Mercury to now process and make more sense logically of what experiences you've been aware of, as Mercury will slowly but surely catch up to the sun, as it looks like, if not Cancer or Leo. Woo! Let's get it. So, how are y'all enjoying this webinar? This is where we're going to shift gears and we're going to speak more on how this is going to influence the zodiac signs. So far, about an hour in, though, please feel free to share your insights. How are y'all enjoying this webinar? This first part was a more general part to let us know, of course, what aspects we're all going to go through and what we all can expect to face together. Shout out to Lily, who, like McDonald's, is loving it. Shout out to Michi, enjoying every second. And shout out to the confirmation that is also being received. All right. Much, 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 much appreciated. This next phase is going to focus, this next phase of the webinar is going to focus more on the evolution cycle that Jupiter and Mars will be kicking off in, of course, Aries during Gemini season. So I will resume in another 3 to 5 minutes. If any of you would like to take a break, you are welcome to, and we will resume shortly. Thank you guys so much again for the amazing feedback. Uh, I hope y'all know it really does mean the world to me. I really am very grateful. I first and foremost always want to make sure what I'm offering is worth the quality, uh, or rather the price that you pay. And so, I always really do enjoy that this really does help you, So, with that being said, well, let's get back into this. Realistically speaking, I really, the purpose of this is to prepare you for the transit ahead and to at least give you realistic insight that you can apply to it. So, it really does mean a lot that many of you know what to look for and how to apply the information and knowledge on a small scale. You're just coming into this information, but you are applying it to the world around you. So there is a ripple effect that I'm glad you are a part of. Okay. That being said, let us resume this transit wisdom by going into the ultimate cycle of evolution. This is a 12-year Jupiter cycle that will go from May 10th, of course, to April 21st of 2034 from 2022. Every 12 years, Jupiter cycles help do several things. One is it takes the budding Pluto generation that is just being born and it ushers in their births. Very key. In this case, for the last cycle that started 2010, Pluto had just entered Capricorn. And from 2010 to 2022, brought in the birth of Pluto Capricorns. Just like this next Jupiter cycle will bring in the birth of Pluto Aquas that will begin to be born 2023 in March, if not April. Very key, very iconic, very revolutionary. What Jupiter cycles will also facilitate for the previous Pluto cycle is Saturn returns. So whereas Pluto Capricorns were born, Pluto Scorpios came into their Saturn returns. Save, of course, Saturn Pisces, who is a bridge generation for the new one anyway, and will come into their evolution during this new Jupiter cycle. Okay, very key. We also see the older generations come into their Uranus oppositions. So this is going to come back around and not only do this, but the quality of this is at its climax. Over the next 12 years, you will see the climax of social, cultural, civilization, and sociological principles simultaneously meet its end as it crescendos into a brand new beginning. Many themes of the 60s, 70s, and 80s will wash away as you see new culture, new social norms take its place. It's not like the end of a decade where we come into a new wave. This is the cumulative of all of that ending. Pluto Aquarius will bring us to a whole new threshold of what's considered normal and weird, that this is really going to shock and jar people. The last time we had, of course, Pluto in Aquarius was during the ending of monarchies that had ruled over people for centuries and the beginning of democracies. Well, we're going to see the end of postmodern conventional democracies, and what takes its place may be something most people aren't ready for, because it's nothing you'll read in a science or history book, and it 100,000% induces and includes the supernatural. Okay, so relative to this ultimate cycle of evolution, what makes this cycle of evolution ultimate is the placement of Neptune in Pisces. Jupiter's cycle through the zodiac is a cycle of evolution, but Jupiter cycling through with Neptune in Pisces adds legendary quality at the most ultimate level to this cycle of evolution. As we know, the next time Jupiter comes around, Neptune will be in Aries. The last time it was around, Neptune was in Aquarius. And before that, Neptune was in Capricorn. So this specific cycle that kicks off with Mars and Jupiter, while Neptune is 12th house from it, takes the supernatural transcendence of our ability to perceive our highest being in integration with how we anchor this through our personality and identity, is now taking this next 12 years of evolution to cumulatively step us into the ultimate version of this. Namely, every single element of evolution that has led you up into this point is going to push you forward, similar to a bonus round, to bring you to the highest peak of your being. That makes this period not only so iconic and revolutionary, but makes sense why it's kicking off the revolution of the individual, where individuals collectively from all around the world will renounce old traditional protocol through the new generation that we don't have to say is good or bad. It's just outdated. And so we're going to replace it with new ideas. Of course, like everything that starts, it's not going to be polished. It's going to look a little like anarchy. And this is where through that friction, we can gain balance. When you ride a bike, it's a little frictiony at first, but that we're going to gain forward momentum. And this is the cycle that's going to bring all of this into fruition, which is very, very key. Of course, the 29th of May, tomorrow, and the 30th is going to be the activation of this evolution cycle, because Jupiter officially starts its evolution May 10th. And then, of course, January of 2023, when we go into Capricorn, end of December 2022, is when Jupiter will come out of its retrograde back into Aries and officially begin with the sun. Mars is going to kick off the actual cycle, though. So for those of you who have recently concluded on a legend, you're getting ready to manifest this legend through your identity as the person who fulfilled it and is now manifesting the results of it. Happy birthday, Jessica, to your mother tomorrow. So that being said, what is each element evolving? Each element, of course, relative to the activation in Aries, is going to bring a certain theme involved with it. The earth will bring liberation, water will bring wealth, and of course, air will bring desire, while fire brings action. These different themes will influence through the zodiac signs of these elements how this evolution and what about this evolution will take place. Okay. As we step into fire, we know that fire signs for Aries will activate the fire houses. And this is going to, relative to the moksha houses, step us into action. Actually, I don't think this is the moksha, but step us into action. And relative to these dharma houses, what this is going to do is realistically, regardless of your sign, activate the identity through how we express this element of our personality through, once again, action. So Aries is very crucial because Aries is going to start this cycle in their first house, in their own sign. And so the evolution that is expressing itself through the skill sets of this new moon in Gemini will activate a definitive evolution of how you see yourself. But with Neptune in the 12th, fully transcending your belief of how you see yourself and believing yourself to levels beyond what you've ever thought was possible. Not because you believe it, but because you're going to be taking actions that blow your mind. The stuff you're going to be doing around who you are will quintessentially evolve what you used to think you could achieve before versus what you're achieving now. So very important. With Mars in its dignity here, there's a sense of power and of self that with Chiron will restore all sorts of unconventional confidence that you may have never felt before, especially if you're going through a Chiron return. Of course, for Leo, this is going to be your ninth house of philosophy. And so Neptune, that's in the eighth house behind this, will quintessentially transform how you believe in magic itself to push yourself more in opportunities to show the world who you are. This is going to quintessentially upgrade the philosophy around who you think and believe yourself to be. What beliefs constitute how you express yourself? And what ideas do you spread in your social arena to share the story of this higher version of yourself? You express a lot of your identity through the sharing of your philosophy. So this will open up opportunities to travel just to do so, as well as learn more about the world around you to add into how you see yourself. And of course, Sagittarius, all right, Aries is your fifth house. So this legend you're kicking off is a legend of creativity. Some of you are going to produce some of the most fantastically creative projects that really harp down on who you are through these creations. You're going to express a lot of your identity through what you create. And most importantly, how you redefine what is fun to you and who you have fun with. The fifth house is a romance house because you find friends of the heart to enjoy stuff you love together. This is going to be more fun than some of you had in a while because, of course, the epiphany of this in the seventh house is it's going to let you know who you are meant to experience this creativity with and how, with the North Node in your sixth. Next, we have the earth signs. The earth signs are now, with fire in their water houses, going to be kicking off this legendary evolution cycle, ultimately through liberation. And this liberation will definitely set you free relative to how you release limitation from the physical and mundane and unlock this through your soul and breaking through vulnerable blocks. Okay. Thank you. Dharma, moksha, artha, kama. So I think the fire houses are the I guess the Karma house. And then we have the, wow, that's interesting. Hmm. So the Karma houses of the air. So basically, in relative to this I think is actually the moksha houses. So the earth is now stepping into the moksha house, which is liberation. Okay, thank you, her higher self, for making that clear. The Kama house, I think, is the air houses, and then Dharma is the fire. So Artha is going to be the earth houses. So that being said, we know that it's very key here for Earth, because a lot of you are going to break through psychological limitations that will have you liberate from unconscious influences that have held you back. This is going to be really amazing. Taurus, this is so key. Your legend is the 12th house legend, ultimately with Aries. This is the solo path. Taurus, Pluto in your ninth house has been transforming your philosophy on how you navigate through the world. And so you have a hidden identity. You have been blocked in how to really come to terms with this hidden aspect of your personality. And you're finally bursting through the seams to evolve how you integrate the transformation of your behavior and pure element of your lifestyle, or rather the social quality of how you balance relationships with others with the spirituality of how you express your individual self. This is so very key, because this is going to break you through inhibitions of a facet of yourself you've hidden your whole life, that you'll feel more boldly expressing through what value you find the ability to express this through. So very key. The solo legend for you, Taurus, is you're going to do things that no one else has ever done. And that's going to make you feel so more valuable about yourself. Virgo, of course, Aries is your eighth house of trust. So we know that you have social value. We know that you manifest partnerships and relationships. You manifest balance and intelligent social actions, as well as intelligence. And you use that as a resource to invest this social balance in the right individuals you can build relationships with. This requires raw, bold boundaries drawn in the face of people who don't respect those boundaries with their brashness. And so Jupiter is going to evolve the quality of who you can trust and how much more dynamically and on the cusp you can invest more wealth in through investment channels to raise your money and finances. But this requires trusting in the right people. And this is going to, with Chiron, heal how much more vulnerable you can break through this, inducing such evolutionary transformation. And then, of course, Capricorn, your fourth house of Aries is your home. So this is going to really evolve the personification of how comfortable you feel being your original self with the right people, and who you trust more in your private world. Okay. Hence, you may move, you may renovate your inner home, you may step into real estate opportunities. And most importantly, you gain considerable insight into how the knowledge of your ancestry activates more the core individuality of who you are. Air activates, I believe, the Kama houses. And so this is what will influence, of course, desire and how we align with what people influence our attitudes and like the same stuff we like. Okay. So for you air signs, this evolution is going to connect you with all the right people to further your goals. Gemini, okay, this is very key because Aries is your 11th house of friendships. So you're going to be introduced, like the friends who you make are the one. And for some of you, Gemini, you are that friend. Gemini is unique in that Aries is the 11th house. So you may be your own team, and that might be all you need. The reflexiveness of this is even when you are alone, you represent your team and the multitude of friends you may have. And so this will really influence your identity based on how the right friends identify with this, and it will let you know the original influences that belong in your life. So Gemini, like, this is a house of fame and notoriety. You are going to burst through perhaps more influence than you're used to, and taking original actions that align you with the dopest, rawest of people. Okay, key friendships are going to be huge here. And then, just like for Gemini, their friendships will be key. Libra, your partnerships will be key. That right one will shift everything for you and with you. You're going to find partnerships that match and complete your intellect with their originality. In that, you polish partnerships you're a part of. This balance will definitely evolve every single relationship you're a part of and induce relationships that evolve your life because of what they bring to the table as well. The dynamic assertion and assertiveness that is applied in your relationships with people will now bring out dynamics of you that will complete aspects of your personality as well. Through the epiphany of how you truthfully see the meaning of these relationships and what philosophies enable you to take even more effective action in these relationships. And then, of course, Aquarius, the evolution for you will be in your neighborhood and immediate environment, influencing your attitude and how much more recklessly but originally you communicate to other people. You will express your identity through the skill sets that passionately and boldly activate this sense of originality and power as a collective celestial towards the rest of the collective. Remember, this is your new age we're stepping into, Aquarius. So this is very important because a lot of your thoughts will set the trends of what everyone talks about. That's how it's supposed to be. Y'all are the ones who know. And this is going to really evolve and bring into form new skills that'll bring you an epiphany of how much more creatively you can activate and express your inner child through. Finally, water signs, I'm almost sure you're going to feel this the most because with the earth houses being activated, you're going to manifest results through this that'll be seen practically. Whereas other aspects of the elements come into more psychological benefits or social benefits or personal benefits. Okay. So, in a nutshell, you're going to see this really work well with your money. Okay. Cancer, of course, Aries is your 10th house. So this is going to be amazing. Many of you are going to come into definitive career breakthrough and evolve your career. This is important. Cancer is very gangster, okay? Because Aries is your 10th house. Your success is defined by your own self and how dynamically and boldly you express your identity through your career direction and how you bring your individual self out towards this. Okay. Um, what's very important is also how, as a Cancer, you personally are in a position to realistically open up a very profound sense of, you know, attributes of your own reputation. You're going to get a huge boost in your reputation as well, and how realistically you tap in to how newly to express yourself as well. Okay. Scorpio, we know that Aries is your sixth house of lifestyle. And so, relative to the lifestyle that you'll be living, oh, wow, this definitely puts you in a position to realistically fully define your routine. And many of you will gain boosts to the quality of the lifestyle you live and how you live your life. You, of course, express your identity through your behavior. And relative to this expression of your behavior, oh, wow, this definitely puts you in a position to once again very powerfully and realistically define your individuality with this boost of lifestyle mechanic and function. There are going to be a lot more original ways to also live your life, and it's going to be very liberating and very awesome too. And then, of course, Pisces, this is pretty self explanatory. Um, you're going to evolve your finances. Okay. And relative to this, the price you charge for what you manifest with, the nature of your job is going to be more aligned with who you are. And a lot of how you reflect your finances and express your individuality is in how you manifest what you're worth. Your brand really is you. So this is definitely going to skyrocket your self-esteem to the next level, which will key you in to who and with what you truly feel at home with, solidifying this value. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That in a nutshell was the evolution cycle for what starting in Aries you'll kick off. I'm now going to go through the rest of the zodiac and tie that into the true epiphany that each zodiac sign will be going through. So keep in mind, what are you evolving relative to your sun and your rising? I'm so glad it resonates with your Scorpio rising. That's so awesome. So we're going to do that. And as we do that, we're going to conclude the rest of this transit by looking into the signs. So Aries, the true epiphany for you as you are kicking off this cycle to evolve yourself is new magical skills. You, more than anyone, Aries, are learning new ideas, programs, and spells with which to open the doorway into changing your whole reality. And this epiphany is going to be in a new way of thinking that's going to really reveal to you how this mindset boosts forward this evolution of how you see yourself. And so Mercury is going to transit and retrograde out your third house to reevaluate what value you have. How do your five senses process how valuable you are? As this epiphany is going to change the attitude around how much more to see into your value. As Venus is, of course, going to come out of your sign into Taurus, this will activate so much more groundedness into how you turn the grapes of your being into fine wine and step more into the connoisseur quality of expressing to others what you're worth. Mars, of course, will leave your 12th, and as it enters your first, kick off and supercharge this evolution of self. And so, what's very key here is that as Saturn squares Uranus in your second to innovate your worth relative to how you anchor where that belongs with high quality people. Remember, Saturn is weeding away the nobodies in your life. This is going to continue with Neptune in your 12th to transcend your belief in yourself so that you can transform your legacy and smash through outdated traditional norms to step into the success relative to this new age and cycle you're meant to have. So the full moon transit that we have is going to help you understand the higher meaning and philosophy of the attitude you are breaking into. Taking a spell and showing you the higher meaning of how to introduce this to begin to change your behavior as you master this new skill in your attitude. Taurus, the evolution of your spirituality that will uplift this hidden nature of your personality and identity into activating hidden superpowers through this will give you an epiphany in how to manifest true value towards this. You're going to take this hidden aspect of yourself and it's going to enlighten you with so many brilliant ways to manifest. Remember, Uranus is in your first house, so you're innovating the quality of how valuable you manifest your own self. And this is, of course, aligning into solidifying career success that lasts a lifetime. Because with Saturn in your 10th, this is making sure you can innovate how you identify yourself relative to the career success that is giving you authority over what you know. And so as you are unconventionally defining yourself through this, Neptune is creating the dream team with which you can be around the right people for all your dreams to come true with. And this is happening while Pluto is transforming the philosophy around how you form your beliefs and direct more the transformation of old traditional norms that influenced your philosophies. As Venus comes out of your 12th and returns into your sign to have you come into this beauty, we will see Mercury also retrograding back into your first and take this epiphany of what you're truly worth and how you awaken more to how more valuable you've always been. There's a uniqueness to this that will transform how much bolder you deal with people, because this radical sense of confidence in yourself may seem crazy to people, but you know more than anyone what this is worth, like someone who had Bitcoin in 2010, okay, or 2012. And so the full moon in your 8th is going to complete and harvest the right beliefs and perspectives to invest in, taking this new seed in your finances to now harvest how you can expand and transform more your finances through the right investments and transforming how much more intimately you can connect with people, because this epiphany has skyrocketed your confidence in yourself and who you can show this to. Gemini. Let's be real. This is going to expand relative to 12 years ago, how much more influential you are. Let's use myself as an example. 12 years ago, little to nobody knew me. I was asking people what their sign was so I can learn astrology. And I was just that weirdo on campus asking people their sign. 12 years later, I am a Z-list celebrity. People recognize me in Adelaide. I have been recognized on the street, in the strip club, in a corner store. All right. People in different countries or states are noticing other people who notice me. That is 12 years of hard work that has definitively evolved my influence. Now I can go to many places and people will meet up with me. That is the effects and the evolution of now the team of original friends and supporters who rock with me, you all included. And so the epiphany this is giving Gemini is a new way to think of yourself. Now, based on this pushing of support, the way we communicate who we are is going to be so much more aligned with the truth of who we are. And this is going to align you, Gemini, with all your hopes and wishes, actualizing the dream with Neptune in your 10th house, creating that dream vocation, being led by your intuition. As Pluto deepens the incredible level of intimacy that will break down more of your walls, but find more practical application to the manifestation of Saturn, making so much more extraordinary the philosophy around how you express your truth. It's the square to the 12th house in Taurus that relative to this logical philosophy will innovate your personal beliefs around your value. And so Mercury that retrogrades out of your first back into your 12th will reevaluate now that you think of yourself as more angelic and brilliant and magical with real evidence, how you process and overcome unconscious habits around not believing in what you're worth. And Venus coming out of this 11th house into the 12th will also polish in its dignity how you manifest this sense of your spirituality with the South Node transforming your behavior in the 6th. So the full moon for you is going to take this new self concept of definition and reveal the meaning of the ascended partners, gods and goddesses, and people in your life who can match with this new idea of yourself and who can complete that and take you on an adventure and vice versa. Cancer. Okay. The last of the individuals, the Mohicans. This is going to quintessentially push you to a new level of career. And remember, this is very empowering because your career is self-defined. The career you come into isn't always from support from others. It's based on you. Yeah, you might have help from other people, but it's you. You alone individually come into this success. Okay. And so the epiphany for you is going to be a whole new way to think about your spiritual beliefs and the patterns with which you, through thinking, set your own spirituality. Since you're going to produce life-changing career results, this is going to show you that the beliefs around how you think, how that's influenced this success. And this is going to quintessentially work towards over the next 6 months changing your whole life and how much more passionately you live your lifestyle. Neptune in your 9th house has allowed you to see the unseen. And as a high priest or high priestess, really through the intuitive nature of your psychic feelings, feel into the vibes that connect all of us unconsciously and the metaphysical aspects that make you psychic AF. Oh my God. And Pluto in your 7th house is continuing to awaken power in others you're in relationships with. Although if they're impure, they're projecting mad evil on you. So the square with Saturn in your 8th that's drawing advanced boundaries for who you can trust relative to the collective is clashing with who makes the cut with Taurus in your 11th, who is valuable enough to add wealth to you. This is very key because you are unlocking your creative talents to manifest as a part of a grounded team and group of friends. So Venus is going to be taking the rewards from your career and polish who you can connect and succeed and enjoy that with. Really invite you to connect with very valuable people who add so much abundance to your circle of friends. As Mercury will reevaluate the application of this change of belief into how you process that with other people who influence you. So the full moon is going to take the spiritual beliefs that you're sowing seeds to and already break through into showing you evidence of how this is beginning to change your actual behavior relative to how it influences the collective. Leo. This Aries transit and evolution is going to kick off, if not travel opportunities, an ascension. This is going to set up your rising star year. When Jupiter went through my 9th house, this was when I actively saw major growth in my notoriety. And based on me posting a lot of what I believe in my philosophy, I lost like friends, but for every friend I lost, I made 3 amazing friends and I rose in prominence. For you as the main character, Leo, because that was me going through as a side character. As a main character, Leo, this is going to be the full ascension of how you see yourself and express your character, especially through your philosophy and the actions you take that express this philosophy. right? Everyone's writing a new supernatural series. I love it. It's so amazing. And so this epiphany that you're having is going to be in the true friends that you can express this philosophy towards, with who recognize and see you for who you are. You're going to have that epiphany by recognizing that the reason why other people couldn't see you is because you're around the wrong people. But the true friends will speak that language of your higher self. This is so pivotal. That retrograde coming out of the 11th back into the 10th will communicate this back into career goals as you're processing how much more valuable your success is. Remember, Gemini is the results and rewards of your success. So, relative to this eclipse in your 10th, you're already starting to manifest the right associates and the rewards and the influence and the notoriety from what you've broken through. And Venus is going to quickly polish this, taking this element of what you're evolving in yourself and applying to how you manifest more value into your career. Venus and its dignity in your 10th is going to be really good for you, y'all, especially when it comes to creating the money in your career that will lead into liquid returns through Virgo season. Saturn is in your 7th. That's innovating relative to how much discernment you have with who you partner with, how that will influence the innovation of your career and how you deal with other people, with Neptune in your 8th, to draw important boundaries, as people will take advantage and just be delusional as hell or shady as hell. So with Pluto in the 6th, you have to be super pure about how you integrate your behavior and lifestyle, so that with the full moon, okay, in your 5th house, this is going to take the seed sown of the true friends who you can enjoy the success with and the supporters in this life, so that you can break through into how creatively you can express your talents to these people. Now that you know who truly rocks with you, you're going to start to uncover what you all love in common and how you can have fun and perform your talents to them. Virgo, let's get it. This is going to be setting up a spiritual warfare transit. To me, Saturn, Jupiter, or anything going through the 8th is like spiritual warfare, because you have to draw major boundaries. And this will require people crossing your boundaries and trying your patience, so that you can recognize that, you know what, your value has evolved. And so your boundaries have to evolve. You are more valuable to yourself. And so what you will tolerate is going to be a lot less than what you did before, or at least updated. Okay. So, with that being said, this is going to induce original raw transformation. And the legendary quality with the 7th house before will take the element of divine partnerships to now induce very raw results of those partnerships. Okay. This is going to be really key, because this definitely opens up a very interesting dynamic of changing quintessentially who you trust relative to what your social value picks up on, that on elements of their character. The reevaluation with this epiphany based on who you can trust and invest in will show you what direction to take your career. This epiphany for you is going to be into the insights that really pimp out how you add very enlightened qualities to your career direction. And you will break through into career success because of how you put your message out there. And so Mercury retrograding back into your 9th is going to reevaluate how much more valuably you process your philosophy, now that you know you have greater ideas that can pop. And Venus coming out your 8th will polish the trust issues you have to also align with this emerging sense of your philosophy, which, while squaring Saturn in your 6th, is challenging how you can innovate this element of your philosophy to take the integration of these advanced, extraordinary techniques to ground more practically into how you live your life. This is actually super pimp, because there's certain ways that you're going to live and formulas and techniques that will become science after this with which you can teach people this advanced science with how you live your life. It's just, who do you trust with these realizations? And Neptune in your seventh will make people you're dealing with very shady, but if they have purity, very divine. Okay. Um, what this also does is put you in a position to, with Pluto in your fifth, unlock and awaken more intensity of how creatively you express yourself. And so, with the full moon in Sagittarius, this is going to unlock and harvest your understanding of the passionate home foundation to make the most of the seeds you've sown with ideas for your career, and how creatively and passionately you'll hold space within to now express those messages outwardly to other people. Libra. This evolution for you is going to be in the terms of your partnerships. Okay. And this is going to really change the game concerning how much more dynamic people you're in a relationship you are with really bring to the table, but more importantly, how much you bring to the table to any relationship you are a part of. You have spent 6 years evolving your personality. And now this year in 2023 is going to prepare you to express that towards other people quite effectively and dynamically, if I may say so myself. And the epiphany that this is bringing you is now the philosophy of how you communicate to people in these relationships. Now that you're seeing how much more influential you are to each and every single person, like, you're going to basically be able to take other people to the next level and to the top and evolve their lives with your charm. It took 6 years for you to get to this point, but this is going to, over the next 6 years, evolve these partnerships to bring you into more career evolution and society, collective friendship evolution before you do it all over again in 6 years. Saturn in your fifth house is now structuring how much more seriously you cultivate your talents. After Jupiter evolved how creatively you do this, this is making you more serious about not only what it is you're creating, but squaring the innovation in the eighth, how much more creatively you trust the right influences with your own pure wisdom and value. That Uranus is opening up unconventional investment channels for most of you through crypto. Venus transiting here is going to really bless your portfolio as it polishes the people who you are connecting with, as Mercury will take these insights about your philosophies and relationships and now apply them into the grounded, channels you can invest in and trust. Pluto, of course, is breaking free and through liberating more of your home space by bringing to the surface very dramatic home issues that might be private to other family members. And Neptune is seemingly creating this maladaptive imagination, but really it's making you supernatural to weave more of your imagination into your reality. And so the full moon is going to take the seeds sown in this philosophy and already start to show you how to develop skills and to ascend your attitude as you harvest this to now play out for real how this philosophy can be shown by you artistically to other people. Scorpio, with Saturn in your fourth house, this is having you take advantage of work from home opportunities, and anchor more, whether through real estate or more authority over your home space and family, your grounding in cosmic ancestry. This is innovating by how serious you are about your private life, how unique the partners who you attract and manifest who can connect with you are. This makes things very complicated because you're attracting weirdos. They're either weird as hell or they're genius. It is to add more wealth to you, but this innovation is bringing up to speed with this eclipse how you can transform your being to influence other people and add more value to them. And so Mercury, that's retrograding out your eighth, is going to take this change of your boundaries to process how you can strengthen more what you're communicating to other people. And Venus, that is taking this evolution of your lifestyle, is going to apply this season into how you polish your relationships with other people. This is going to be really good for you, really fruitful for romance and relationships as well, especially with Neptune in your fifth, with Mars leaving here, having you not only be super saucy, but kind of have rose tinted glasses in what magic you're creating with people and channeling with people. However, we know this evolution is happening in your lifestyle. The way you live your life is going to have a lot more oomph and boost to how much more control and autonomy and authenticity you live a lifestyle based around who you really are. Okay. And the epiphany this is going to give you is in how you can transform your dealings with others. You're going to now feel so much more comfortable trusting people because you have so much more power and force behind how you live your life and who you trust to really enjoy the fruits of this lifestyle with. And so the seeds you're sowing in your eighth that's going to create transformation and how much more intimately you can trust the right influences with your ascended insights is going to harvest and open up space for you to complete this program with manifesting value. This is going to take the new moon of who you invest in with already having the full moon create returns on your investment to show you and change who you can trust and how trustworthy these investments are. Sagittarius. Okay. Whew. This is definitely going to be supernatural as you lead the charge on that. And Pisces completes this. Scrop rising. And this is where personally, with Pluto in your second, you're breaking through more extreme levels of wealth and manifesting collective finances, money from everybody. This adds so much more extreme transformation to your self-esteem. And we have to once again keep in mind with Neptune in your fourth that this is transcending the essence of how you feel at home with the whole collective astrally and the paranormal phenomena around what you experience in your home and how you bridge the astral with the real world. The evolution for you obviously is of course your creativity. And so the true epiphany here is you're going to realize the true partners in your life who bring out this creativity. That's going to be the epiphany for you. You're going to realize, oh wow, I'm so talented at what I do. These are the people who I'm meant to be with that will fully bring this out, cultivate and nourish it, that I can express this with, versus people who you'll realize don't do that and have no business wasting your time or being with you. This is going to change your mind around how you communicate how amazing you are to people. And with Neptune in the fourth, overcome miscommunication issues because you're going through what Gemini is going through, with just on the opposite end. And so Uranus is innovating your lifestyle by inducing supernatural manifestation quality to how well you innovate the tightening and mastery of cosmic abilities and skills. Mercury retrograding out your seventh is taking this epiphany of how more brilliantly you can communicate this to others by now processing how to fine tune these skill sets physically. And Venus is taking the polishing of your talents to integrate into your lifestyle. Sagittarius, a major key feature for you is taking the mastery and the authority you have over the knowledge behind certain skill sets at a highly advanced level to now innovate your lifestyle with them and how you integrate them practically into your life. What I said was simple, but it's very complex. So the full moon is going to take the seeds you're sowing in your relationships with others, and it's going to harvest a change in how you see yourself. You're going to start to harvest this and how much more amazing you are because of what you're applying in your relationships with other people. Capricorn, this evolution for you is in your home. Whereas Cancer, your opposite sign, will be evolving their career. You're going to be evolving how much more comfortable you feel being your original self at home and with who you feel comfortable letting into this home. Okay. So as Mars comes out of your third house where Neptune is and develops the assertion around how you imagineer your attitude, this is going to kick into the boldness of passion of how you take action in this private sense. And this is very important because Pluto squaring this in your first is going to take the extreme nature of how you're expressing your character and applying that more extremely into what's evolving into your personal home life. The epiphany this is producing now that you are evolving your sense of home, which can induce a new home, moving, is going to make you more confident around how to live your life. Obviously, once I'm squaring where I live, I can now form a lifestyle around it. And this true epiphany is going to hook you up with magical techniques that will change your thinking around how you live your life and how more efficiently to multitask or live your life with enlightened techniques and behaviors that, with the full moon, will manifest ascension to the next level of your spirituality by harvesting unconscious spiritual beliefs, which will help you notice ascended patterns around the new ways you're changing your life. Okay. Very amazing. Very amazing. Capricorn, you've really gone through a lot, especially with Saturn in your second house, that is tightening more the authority you can command in your wealth. It's literally making stronger your finances. And this is what's innovating the challenge to how you integrate that creatively so you can innovate everything you're good at creating now that you've mastered more the knowledge of what you're manifesting. Aquarius. This evolution is going to be in the original skills that takes the genius of who you are and applies this originally. You are the trendsetter, Aquarius. So your ideas are going to influence people to start a wave of new ways to think through your skills you're developing. Of course, as you evolve the new skills, let's say this is tarot, the epiphany you're going to come into is a new way to creatively express that. For example, you may come up with a new show where you express creatively your tarot reading skills. And the skills will be the evolution force behind the creative expression of this show with your talents. Or maybe you can realize, wow, I can make a rap album about the tarot now that I've learned these new skills about tarot. Regardless, that's just an example. The reevaluation of Mercury retrograding out of this fifth will help you process more groundedly the home environment that will enable you to utilize these skills and talents. And Venus will polish this evolved sense of skills into immediately working on your home space to ground said innovation with Uranus in the eclipse that is unlocking your career success to ground more of a place with which you can enjoy all this liquid income in. Let's not sleep on Neptune in your second that Jupiter went through. Your ability to manifest supernaturally is more beyond the God level now. You imagine it, it becomes. And so this is where with Uranus in your fourth, the seriousness of your brand and how much more serious you're taking yourself with the burden and responsibility of being a collective celestial is innovating how you live your home life and what ancestry unconventionally this manifests as well. And so the seeds you sow in the creative talent will harvest with the moon in Sagittarius by showing you who in your social circle of friends you can creatively express this talent to. Last but not least, the magical fishies of the zodiac, Pisces. Okay. I love this for you, Pisces. You're manifesting your money. Some of you, and I love saying this knowing that Rihanna is a billionaire. Like some of you are going to step into money, whether you're already rich or whether you're struggling financially. The second house is the house of self esteem and also confidence. So this is going to evolve and have you take assertive action on what you're worth. That feature price is going up. And the original quality of value that brands your identity through what you manifest will very quickly accelerate the finances you come into. The epiphany this will produce is now the true circumstances you feel at home with and the enlightenment of how to liquidate these financial resources for your immediate environment and home. We take the money in our second house and we spend it at home for how to innovate our home life, which leads to how we express our career. So that being said, Mercury retrograding out of the fourth will apply this epiphany of how comfortable you can be now that you're so much more confident in yourself and how practically to communicate this through your body language and reevaluate how you do so. And then, of course, Venus will polish that second house finances to already start to communicate that in your attitude and develop natural skills. Okay. Very key because after Pisces season is where we saw Jupiter enter your second in Aries, or Pisces second in Aries. And then, of course, Neptune is in your first house, transcending your identity, having you view and connect to the astral realm directly. This is challenging how comfortable you feel with true insights that will bridge these divine aspects of yourself with how you communicate that with people who you trust and are close to you. The key here, okay, this is kind of like Sagittarius. Sagittarius is taking skills and integrating them into their behavior. They're turning skills into techniques. Okay. Pisces, you're taking beliefs and you're integrating them into skills. You're turning beliefs into skills. You're taking the extraordinary authority over the knowledge around your spiritual beliefs that you have around yourself. And it's creating and innovating supernatural skill sets based on these supernatural beliefs around the collective and cosmos that are bringing unconventional supernatural phenomena practically, really, to life. I love this because the seeds you're sowing in your home are going to harvest with the full moon in Sagittarius by seeing how you can ascend career goals and already start to see evidence of a change in your reputation. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me in this monumental webinar. We are going to go from strength to strength. Okay, seeing that this is accurate is so important because you need to be excited. This Gemini season is going to spice things up very correctly. It's going to change a lot of people's minds about, like, could be certain people who you're talking to who are unsure about you. They're going to be sure about you after this. Okay. There are going to be certain opportunities that don't open for you until this transit is finished or through this transit because the mindset that you're activating is going to bring the power back into your hands. Literally, Gemini, hands, lungs. And so you are looking at June 21st, 0 degrees Cancer. We started Gemini with moon in Aqua. We're going to start Cancer with moon in Aries. It's just this time Mars is going to be 20 degrees Aries in its passion. This is the ready, set, go to charge your mindset and have you dive fully deep into the cultivation of your family, the nature of your identity that helps you understand what are the roots of who I am and with who are you cultivating the sense of family and psychic power with. This is the application of new magical abilities and spells through psychic power and deepening power that will add power to this new magical mindset. adding so much more depth to your character as we kick off the next 1, 2, 3 summer season and transcending game changing transit. Thank you all very much once again for joining us. Feel free to comment your testimonials, not in the live chat, or you could do that too, but in the comment section of this video for anyone who read. I feel really good about this. Even just sharing this message is a magical ritual. There's so much to be excited about. And thank all of you for showing up and tuning in. I really feel like, given the intensity of the rest of the year and the slow start we had, Aries and Taurus season, this is going to pick up the speed and you're really going to set your pace. And please understand the exhilaration that comes with learning a new magic spell that begins to change everything with you. You start to realize, I can change this about my mindset. And now I can apply this to this situation. So that by Virgo season, you've applied this new spell to every situation in your life. And now your life is changing. And now that your life is changing, you can apply this through Sagittarius season to your whole world. And now this will begin to change the world around you. It all begins with your mindset, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are prepared to step into that magical door, into the supernatural that will transcend everything that you thought you knew, congratulations and welcome. Y'all stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.